Leave the country with kids and parents, because I want my children to grow up in a democratic, free, and rule of law country.
A video produced in 2020 by the Li Shui City Prosecutor's Office in China. Local Chinese associations in Spain have tracked down a suspect at a so-called Overseas Police Service Center in Madrid. He is questioned remotely by police in China. Sitting alongside them is a representative of the suspect's family.
I want to talk about the secret Chinese police departments operating in damn near every American city.
China has set up over 50 unofficial police stations in at least 21 countries. The unofficial police stations are allegedly being used to intimidate and silence Chinese dissidents abroad. Following the investigation, Dutch media found evidence of at least 2 unofficial Chinese police stations operating in the Netherlands. The Dutch Foreign Ministry says their existence is illegal.
I have to say, it's one of the wildest stories and unexpected that I've seen. It came out of a Department of Justice press conference. Let me bring in NBC Justice and Intel correspondent Ken Delaney. And as I understand it, there were a couple of New York residents who were down in Chinatown, which is in Lower Manhattan. They were operating essentially a secret police station on behalf of the Chinese government. Am I misstating here?
You are not, Chris, and believe it or not, this is not even close to the first time that this has happened.
Persuasion operations aimed at coercing those suspected of speaking out against the Chinese regime to return home.
We busted one again.
The prosecutor's video says the suspect was persuaded to return home to face charges. It is a disturbing new tactic, says Laura Half, a co-author of the report from the human rights group Safeguard Defenders.
Which basically means like threatening, harassing family members, relatives back home to have the so-called fugitive, the person abroad, voluntarily, as they call it, return to China.
These motherfuckers have secret police stations in New York, in Philadelphia, in Chicago, Houston, LA. What the fuck?
Around the world. This is a part of Chinese tradecraft, and the Justice Department today has announced a massive case. They've arrested these 2 individuals and indicted them. They've also charged 46 others, including many Chinese state security operatives, with a huge scheme to target dissidents around the world and in the United States, Chinese dissidents, and harass them and take action against them. The Justice Department calls this transnational repression. And oh, by the way, as part of this, they're also trying to allegedly manipulate U.S. public opinion using fake accounts on social media. What's so remarkable about this is essentially the U.S. accusing the Chinese government of committing crimes in the United States.
And I think the most worrying thing of this is how brazen it is all getting.
This is not just espionage, which you goddamn right it is.
These stations are completely clandestine, and definitely the kind of operations they are running are clandestine. And just to add to that, even if there's not a station, we know that the networks that they are using, the people they're hiring to do this, maybe through other means, through other kinds of organizations, will be involved in these kind of threats and harassment campaigns.
This is not just infiltration into our country by government officials of China, which you goddamn right it is.
Chinese authorities boast that between April 2021 and July 2022, they persuaded over 230,000 Chinese nationals to return home to face criminal proceedings. The report says China has opened at least 54 police service centers on 5 continents, according to freely available official documents.
Also during Xi Jinping's speech to the Congress last week, the Chinese Communist Party Congress last week, how he was stressing the need to reinforce the United Front, to reinforce and bring in a way, the overseas Chinese into, the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. And so we see that these kind of policing activities, which include explicitly monitoring the opinion within the communities by these stations, that this is kind of expanding dissidents and critics, people that fled the regime among them. So it's really a net cast very wide that catches all.
But they are targeting American citizens just because they have some Chinese blood. Fuck that. I don't give a damn where your family or where you came from. If you're an American, you're red-blooded.
The Chinese regime is becoming increasingly brazen, its institutions increasingly brazen in pursuing this illegal means across the globe and not even hiding it very well. I mean, equally worrying is the fact that democratic governments are apparently not very aware or even concerned about this happening on their soil in violation of their territorial sovereignty.
The British government told VOA that any foreign country operating on UK soil must abide by UK law, but did not confirm whether it was investigating.
I mean, they've done it before with hacking and some other kinds of things, and you're right, the idea of a secret police station, it goes to the question, the Chinese government believes that they have authority over Chinese all over the world, and whether they're American citizens, U.S. residents or not. And the Justice Department taking firm action today to say that actually, no, they don't, and they can't violate U.S. law.
Fin Lau knows well the long reach of the Chinese Communist Party. As a leader of the 2019 Hong Kong protests against Beijing, he was sought by police and fled to Britain. Then in 2020, on a street close to his London home, he was attacked by 3 masked men who he is convinced were working for the Chinese government.
I don't really feel safe in London, especially after the physical or near-death assault in London. Because, well, for years we have many different Hong Kong and Chinese dissidents being followed or assaulted by the Chinese Communist Party by different means.
And no Chinese scum-sucking piece of shit, communist piglet, can come over here and tap on the shoulder of an American. Fuck that noise. We gotta make an example of these sons of bitches. These guys they arrested, they have to go to jail forever. I mean forever. And then we need to do skywriting over, communist China and let them know what we did to their boys. I don't know, maybe we can send a balloon. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy. Fuck you, China.
Complex global web of surveillance and control, allowing the Communist Party to reach far beyond China's borders.
Apple is saying that COVID in China has led to a slowdown in iPhone production. Wow. So I guess the new variant does affect children.
Fuck you, China.